Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Lifing Out Loud. My name is Cheryl, and I just wanted to get on here and give you a brief rundown on exactly who I am before I get into some of the stories and or adventures that I've had in life. I'm 57 years old. I am the last child, number 8, to a 2-parent household. My parents are now deceased. They would be 95 years old if they were still living. I had 4 brothers, grew up with 4 brothers and 3 sisters. 2 of my brothers are now passed. One of my sisters have passed. I had older parents. I believe my mom was 38 years old when she had me. And so I had some pretty wise parents. And I feel like I was a little bit ahead of my time coming up. But I had a pretty normal childhood, playing outside with the neighbors, kickball, hopscotch, jump rope, playing with Barbie dolls, and hide and go seek and kickball and things like that. I had a little bit of a twist though. Most of my brothers and sisters were gone. There was probably 2 brothers left in the house as I grew up. The one closest to me was 5 years older than me, so but he didn't have much to do with me. I played with my neighbors. But I was kind of a tomboy. When I say kind of, I was a tomboy. So I enjoyed going fishing with my dad. And I would be upset if he went fishing without me. You know, we'd go outside, me and my brother and my niece, after a rain with flashlights and pick up giant night crawlers. Those weren't worms, they were night crawlers because they were huge. They were huge. It was almost a struggle pulling them up out of the ground. But we'd pull up those night crawlers and using our flashlights, and that was fun. I was probably around between the 2nd and 3rd grade when we were out doing that. But that was fun, and picking up ants and throwing them in spider webs and watching the spider come out and grab. I know, it's kind of crazy. Come out and grab the ant or whatever it is that we threw into the web. My father had a garden that he'd make. Me and my brother and my niece go out and pick the tomatoes or beans, Kentucky Wonders, and we had to snap beans and shuck corn, and my mother would do a lot of canning and things like that. I wasn't afraid of snakes. I would go out once I get tired while fishing with my dad. I would flip up rocks looking for snakes, garden snakes, that is. So I wasn't afraid of snakes, but I was very, very afraid of spiders and those giant grasshoppers that would jump up and fly as soon as you come near. Let's go right through me. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. And climbing trees and climbing over fences and getting on the 10-speed bikes that was 3 times too big. That belonged to my brother. But yeah, I had a pretty good and normal childhood. Went to a private school, and even though I was within walking distance from a general school that my other siblings had gone to, within walking distance, so I actually got on a bus and they sent me what I called across the river to a private school, and it was a Lutheran school, as a matter of fact. I was kind of disappointed at the time, but of course, your parents know better. I wanted to go to the other school, which was, the name was Jefferson Elementary, because I wanted to tumble. I wanted to learn how to do back handsprings and all kinds of stuff like that. But anyway, the school that I went to didn't do that. They did front rows, back rows, and cartwheels and things like that. But anyway, fast forward. After that, my parents decided they were going to move, and my dad had they found a house to build. They went ahead and built a house, and I ended up moving. It was around in I was in the fourth grade. But even prior to that, the schools that I had gone to, preschool, it was a Presbyterian church, and like I said, I went to the private school, and then I ended up going to it was a public school, but it wasn't in the suburbs. It wasn't in the city, so we moved to the suburbs. All places that I went, the preschool, the private school that I attended, and the school that I attended in the suburbs were all predominantly white. So, but all was well. Everything went okay. Like I said, I started there in the fourth grade, and I sang in the choir, in the chorus, and I eventually ended up playing an instrument. I started out playing a trombone, and then I changed from a trombone to a trumpet because the trombone was so heavy, and I was like super thin, really skinny. Did that for a while, and after that, went to the junior high and played a lot of sports there. I decided I was going to run cross country, so I did that for a year, and I did track. I did high jump within that track, and I did the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, 400-meter relay. I also played volleyball, and I played basketball for pretty much the entire time throughout junior high and high school. And I did some summer leagues, things like that. I was pretty good. I did start, so I wasn't a bench warmer. I played some junior varsity in the high school on basketball and within volleyball. I enjoyed myself, but of course around that time my parents wasn't that interested in coming to my games and things like that. They just weren't. So you can pretty much count on one hand how many times they attended, the games. I mean, that's just the way it was. I wasn't upset about it, but and so after that, I attended went into vocational school, and that was connected to the high school there, and I did that, and that went well. Came out, but I went and held an office there, and which was what was called OOEA, Ohio Office Education Association. So I was the vice, is it a princess or is it a queen? I was a vice president of the Ohio Office Education Association 1 year, my junior year, and then I became president in my senior year. And I had written this, but anyway, but everything went well. I didn't have any, real issues going through school. Around my senior year is when I actually had a real boyfriend, and he attended another school. And he was a little older than me, like 2 years older. And I would call him every morning on the phone, and before I go to class and things like that. So, other than that, that relationship didn't last that long. It was, I don't know, maybe less than a year. It was less than a year. But other than that, just before I got out, I ended up meeting which is now my ex-husband, my son's father, which I met through his cousin. We were out in a club and their car broke down, and they ended up having to ride in the car with us, which me and another girlfriend and his cousin, my ex-husband's cousin, she had a little rabbit, which back then, if you know what a rabbit was, and it was my ex-husband and his best friend, so we had to take them home. And I really didn't like him at the time. I just didn't like him. And once we got to their house, and then he kept on talking to me, and it was morning time by this time. The sun's coming up. His cousin and my other girlfriend, my other friend, had gone into his house to sleep while he's in the car talking to me. So that was around, I don't know, that went on for like 3 hours. It went on for like 3 hours. And I finally ended up giving him my phone number, and the story goes on from there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for him. And yeah, so we dated for probably 4 years, and of those 4 years, we were engaged for a year. He decided he was going to go to the Marines, so he went to boot camp. And once he went to boot camp and got out, we got married once he got out, and then he left and went to California to find us a place to live. And then once he got to California, I came out and found us a place to live, because we didn't live on base. Once he found a place to live, I went out. All my things were collected. The truck came, and went out to California.